So I'm Jessica Phillips. I was Jessica Bartlett in high school, and I'm class of 2006.
Kyle Phillips, 2006.
After high school, I wasn't ready to go to like a 4-year school. I was still kind of like living at home, and so I went to BCC for 2 years and got an associate's degree. And then I applied for a lot of different colleges in the area. I was looking for one that was really focused on art because when I did my 2-year program, I didn't get a lot of specialized graphic design experience because I basically left with like a general degree, like a liberal arts degree. And so I was looking for a school that was focused on specifically graphic design when I was finishing the rest of my degree.
And that ended up in SUNY Plattsburgh.
Yes. We were together still. We wanted to go to school together, so we started applying different places to try to figure out like what was possible. I visited a bunch of SUNY schools and checked them out, and I also went and checked out formerly St. Rose, which doesn't exist anymore, and just tried to see what would say yes before we kept going forward.
So we both went to Berkshire Community College, and then we went to SUNY Plattsburgh.
Yep. There was like a little bit of challenges with my degree transferring in because I was doing an art-focused degree, and it was an art-focused program that I entered. Coming from Massachusetts and going to New York was a bit of a challenge. I had to retake a lot of the art history classes, unfortunately, but it's kind of something you just kind of learn along the way, I guess.
And I studied computer science. I worked various jobs throughout the computer hardware world. Thought I wanted to do different things involving networking or security. Still kind of want to do those things, but I ended up working at a company that makes medicine called Regeneron, and I help maintain the computers inside of the process areas and laboratories that make medicine. So every bit of machinery that is associated with making medicine is attached to a computer, and all those computers have to be maintained, and that's what I do.
Yeah, so after college, we moved back to New Lebanon, and I was kind of still trying to figure out like how to use my degree and what I wanted to do like on a daily basis. So for a little while I worked, I kept my job that I had through high school, and through the first couple of years of college, I went back to that job. And then as I was there for a few years, I was trying to transition into how to use the degree. And so I started doing some freelance work, and then I started picking up more of that work. And eventually I thought, well, maybe I can turn it into like an actual job. And so that's kind of what I moved into, is all freelance and contract work. Doing various graphic design jobs. I worked in Pittsfield, but I also work like around the country. So it really just depends, like on the daily basis. Like my job will be different. So
you have clients everywhere.
Yeah. Like
and
I have
worked for people in New Lebanon as well.
Yes, I worked for people in New Lebanon. A few years ago, I did the Behold campaign for New Lebanon, which was like a community growth movement where they did a lot of different events at like the Shaker Village and all places in New Lebanon, and tried to like garner some of that community feeling. So we did that, and I've done like some super cool stuff. Like I've done some contract government work that I had to sign forms for. It's just stuff that comes up over the years. Like you don't really know who's going to call you or email you and ask you to give you a hand. So that's the part I like about being a freelancer.
Mayor campaigns, DA campaigns.
Yeah. Yep.
Before we met, there was a teacher that said we were going to get married.
Wait, before we met?
Well, before we started dating.
Oh, well, okay, before we started dating, that's fair.
The teacher said that he wanted an invite to our wedding.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought that was funny. Because why would we get married? Mr. Jamara? Sorry, Mr. Kilfane.
Mine would probably be Mr. Beaudry. He was only there for a little while.
Oh, yeah.
That he was like, I felt like he made an impact on the way that I viewed English as a subject, instead of just being like, oh, this is a thing I have to write papers for, I felt like he was really good at engaging the students and like having them think about why they were interpreting something the way they did. So I liked that part of it.
There's a lot of favorite teachers. It's hard to name one.
Yeah, this is true.
There's a lot of teachers who all had an impact on my life at that time, afterwards, that have had an impact on me. So it's really hard to say who would be my favorite, because they've all had a different impact on my life, and you can't measure that really.
That's true. Yeah.
There's a lot of people who've contributed to that.
So one of the things we did was chess club. And then after chess club, I was like, hey, what about volunteering? Because we need some stuff for our, college resume. So do you want to do volunteering at the Hancock Sugar Village?
Yeah.
So we did that, which was kind of really actually neat. We did a lot of like artifact stuff where we would look at different paperwork and we would piece it to the artifacts. And it was actually kind of cool. Cataloging. And it was like, you wouldn't expect stuff like that we were doing there, but it was very interesting. And
we had you sign up for a track team.
I did. I was the bookkeeper, which really wasn't a job. He just
equipment manager.
The equipment manager. I think Mr. Brown just really wanted me to be part of the experience, and he knew I wouldn't actually do a sport, so he was like, "Well, how about some paperwork management? Means you get to come on the bus with us and come to the events." So I was in for that.
I did many activities in track, mostly throwing. Very little running. I did volleyball with Mr. Rue. I did baseball with Mr. Vickers. Wrestling was before my time, unfortunately.
Yeah. Did you do baseball?
I tried baseball. It didn't work out.
Yeah, just a little bit of baseball.
I think we had a debate team for a year.
But also you did choir for a little while. Because you did just a little bit.
I did theater for a year.
For a little bit, yeah. I went to see some of his plays. Yeah, he was better. He was better at extracurricular activities than me. He would just keep dragging me along to stuff.
We were on the yearbook club.
We did, yeah. That one I think I might have asked you to do that one with me, because I really liked like all the editing that we used to have to do on the yearbook. And back then, some of it was still done by hand. Like, you would still like cut stuff out and collage it together, which was really cool. So enjoyed that, because we got to make some stuff for that. I think that going to a small school was a completely unique experience. In terms of like, you actually know all of the students that are a similar age to you, and you form more, I think maybe more community feel or more of a friendships, because you're seeing the same people over and over all the time. So instead of seeing 300 different kids and you might run into one kid that you spend more time with, you'll see the same 20 or 30 people. And I feel like maybe that garnered more friendships or more of a tighter friendship as you went through school.
I went to Columbia as well, and there were 300 people in my class. And I don't think I knew all of them, especially since we merged schools from middle school into high school. A lot of the grades merged together. And going into New Lebanon, where there were 30, 40 people in my class, it was quite a different experience. And being able to know everyone by their name and knowing most of the people in the school by grades is quite different. But being able to have one-on-one experiences with the teachers, and teachers being able to take time out of their day to have that experience or to share their experiences with you is quite unique.